journaling time.
Hey, what is up, party people? Let me get some music
Hi,
going.
everyone.
How's everyone? Evening.
Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's
Happy
having a
Wednesday.
good week.
Let's see what we got. We got some people showing up already. Linda's here, bright and early as usual. What's up, Linda?
Hi, Linda. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Melissa. Hi,
What's up,
Fran.
Rachel? Melissa's here. Fran's here. What's up, Fran?
Hi, Fran.
Is Fran new? I don't recognize a Fran. Fran, are you new? Let us know. Let us know so we can tell you
Fran,
what's up.
if I'm not mistaken, you've been here at least once before. Maybe I'm confusing someone.
Give everybody a couple minutes to trickle in. I
Hey,
remembered to send out the email and the app notification today, so maybe we'll get some more people hanging out. All right, we got someone on Facebook joining us. What's up, Chandra?
Chandra.
Mary's here. Hi, y'all. Yes, new. See? Got a good eye for
very
our
nice.
regulars.
Hi, Fran.
So, what's up, Fran? Well, welcome. Glad you found us.
Welcome.
And so this is Journal Party Live, and typically what we do, we get our little app up here on the screen. So this is the Journal Party app. So we got all these really great guided journaling programs on here. And so the way that this is going to work is Alex and I will take turns reading the prompts, and we'll journal along with you. And then at the very end, we'll all hang out and share our insights, see if we learned anything, and see if we have anything else that we want to share with the group. But yeah, it's pretty simple. Don't overthink it. That's one of our mantras here. And just start writing. So when you see the prompt or hear us reading the prompt, just put pen to paper and see what comes out. This doesn't have to necessarily be some earth-shattering, revelation-producing experience for you, but oftentimes good insights do show up. That said, don't be mean to yourself if the perfect answers to each prompt don't come out. I think just this practice is a really great practice for thinking differently, kind of breaking out of your normal thinking patterns, and also just kind of seeing what's underneath the hood, seeing what's under the surface. And with that, we have a pretty cool program ready for you this evening. This one is called Pivotal Moments. And so I've been thinking just a lot lately about how crazy life is, how it's kind of like this tidal wave, or I often think of it like dominoes, right? It's like just this thing, and it's going, and it's already in motion. And oftentimes we decide to feel a certain way about that motion, but it's moving no matter how we feel about it. And so it's important to acknowledge that and acknowledge like the truth of your situation. But it's also useful to reflect and just kind of see what can happen in a moment, right? That's why we call it a pivotal moment, right? Something that can literally pivot your life. Another thing that people use to describe this phenomenon I've heard is sliding doors. I think there was a movie some years ago about that, but it's this idea that you like one split second of hesitation, or one slight movement in the other direction, just any deviation from what you actually did in fact choose could have likely produced an entirely different life for you. And that's kind of an interesting thing to ponder. Now, again, we have to acknowledge that the life that we're on is the one that we've made, and it's singular. I don't know that we can necessarily just like quantum jump into a new reality. There's people online who will tell you can. But here we're more about reflecting and actually digging into our truth here. And so even though we can't necessarily change what's happened in the past, and you might find that you don't necessarily want to, but I think what we're getting at here is to shine a light of awareness on these things, so we can just see how different decisions can literally shape our realities. And when you become conscious of how that process works, then you can actually be a little bit more intentional and a little bit more conscious in your decision making, and then you can kind of steer the ship a little bit, so to speak. But tonight's going to be interesting because I don't think we've done a program like this where we've like really looked at life events and tried to understand, like the reverberations of those things. So I think this will be interesting. Nothing too scary or heady in this one, hopefully. I mean, that said, we've all had a lot of we've had different experiences in our lives, and so if something difficult comes up, earmark it. And if it's something that's really difficult, like trauma or something that you think you need a little bit of help in working through, that's one of the coolest things about what we do is that you actually you turn the thought into something that you can read and kind of pick apart and understand. And then if you absolutely need to, you can bring it to someone like a mental health professional who's qualified to help you work through it if it is something that is difficult. But that's not to say we're going to be intentionally digging into rough terrain this evening. So I think you'll find this one enjoyable. We got some chill tracks for you. Like I said, Alex and I will take turns reading the prompts and journal along with you, and then we'll all just kind of hang out in the end as we do. So Alex, do you want to be evens or odds this evening?
I will do evens this evening.
Even Steven. All right.
Start us off.
Good deal. All right. Let's take a quick gander at the chat to make sure that we're not leaving anybody hanging here. All right. So we
got some old favorites.
Yeah. Jerry's
welcome.
Here. Welcome. Yeah, so hopefully you heard our spiel about how this goes down. Marjorie, what is up? Tasha's here. Darlene's back. Hello, Darlene. We missed you. I was wondering where you were at. I hope to see some groovy emojis in the chat. I feel like that's Darlene's calling card. She's always dropping the emojis to go with the music, keeping it alive. All right, she's ready to party. Excellent. Yes, Queen of the Pivot. Nice. Sandy's here. All right. Won't be able to journal, so I'll need to go back and answer the questions. All right. Well, if you want to, you never have to do anything, right? If you ever just want to come and hang out and think, like, that's totally cool too. However this works for you guys. Do what works for you. Remember to hit the like button. Yes. Thank you, Darlene. I really appreciate that. All right. Yes. Melissa says, no one is grading, relax and let it flow. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's one of the coolest things about journaling is it's your journal. You never have to share what you wrote in our programs. We love it when you share insights and, things that you're comfortable with sharing, but never will we ask you to, hold up your journal or anything like that, or read anything out verbatim. That's intentional. We want you to be unedited in this process, because that's how you get to the truth. Like, where else in your life can you be totally unedited and like really examine what's going on? So often we push everything through a filter and it just becomes something else. So really great point, Melissa. All right. A couple more pleasantries in here. And all right, I think we're good to go. Let's get this party started. I'm going to hit the start now button. And just start writing when you see the prompt or hear it. Prompt number 1, the unexpected turn. Think of a moment when your life took an unexpected direction. What happened and how did it feel at the time?
Almost happened. Describe a major decision you almost made but didn't. How might your life be different today?
Chance meeting. Write about a random encounter that ended up being more significant than you realized at the time.
Crossroad. Recall a time when you had to choose between two very different paths. What helped you decide?
Split second. Think of a quick decision that had lasting consequences. What was going through your mind in that moment?
Different timeline. If you could go back and change one pivotal moment in your life, which would it be and why?
Catalyst person. Who is someone whose brief presence in your life created a lasting impact? What did they do or say?
turning point. Write about a moment when you realized you couldn't go back to who you used to be.
Future door. What decision are you facing right now that could become a pivotal moment for future you?
Grateful pivot. Think of a disappointing moment that later turned out to be exactly what you needed. How did it redirect your path?
Couldn't find the mute button or unmute button. All right. Go ahead and finish up your thought if you need to. Take your time, take a deep breath, settle into how all that felt. Consider how all it felt. Let us know in the chat what came up for you. If you feel like sharing, of course, you never have to share exactly what you wrote, like we said. But if you had any insights, then please let us benefit from the collective wisdom here. How'd you do, Alex?
I did pretty well. There's definitely been a few pivotal moments throughout my lifetime, and the same few kept coming up for me in most every prompt. Obviously, those moments have significantly impacted my life in many, many ways. And I think one of the most significant moments I touched upon was, of course, my boating accident that I was in with my friend Amanda. I was only 14 at the time. And, as a result of the accident, my best friend suffered a traumatic brain injury. And, dealing with that kind of trauma at that age, it definitely has an impact on, how you live your life going forward.
That was quite the pivotal moment. I mean, for context, because not everyone knows this story, but Alex was in like a pretty severe boating accident, as she just mentioned. But like, there was literally a pivotal moment on the boat, if I remember correctly, because at least the way I remember you telling me, like you were going, like something in you just told you to get up and move to the other side of the boat, and you would have been hit directly by this other boat that crashed into you guys, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was, there was one question in particular about just like, the slightest, moment where you said, what, let me, it's so, yeah, it was very significant. And yeah, for whatever reason, I just remember getting on that boat that evening and saying to myself, I think I'll get a better view if I just walk and sit on the opposite end of the boat. And, where I was sitting originally is where the impact was. And so that would have been sure death. So
Crazy.
there was definitely a lot of survivor's guilt involved with that incident, especially, because I'm the one that walked away without a scratch on my body. So yeah, obviously that had a huge impact. And as a teenager and stuff, it really, puts into perspective life and how much, you need to value every moment you're given, because you are not promised a tomorrow. And, when it comes to these moments, even if, your day-to-day life doesn't necessarily change, like, the path you take for, forever will change. And, it kind of impacts the decisions you make. And it definitely, kind of is embedded in you throughout your lifetime. And, it could be for better or worse, depending on what the circumstances are. But, I'm proud to say that, because of that incident, it really, kind of pushed me in the direction of just being a more understanding and empathetic human. And, yeah, so it's definitely pivotal. And yeah, so what about you? What did you find in your
Well,
journaling session?
um, quite a bit. Well, thank you for sharing that, by the way. I, you know, I, I think it's just crazy to think that one decision you wouldn't be here. Like my whole life would be different. Isn't it crazy how that just echoes out into the universe? And so, I mean,
Yeah.
every decision in a weird way is kind of a pivotal moment if you think about it that way. No pressure,
Mhm.
everybody at home. But yeah, I think the other thing that's kind of cool, aside from the obvious trauma and the difficulty that caused, it also launched a whole bunch of advocacy and the awareness building that you do for people with brain injuries, and that obviously wouldn't be a part of your life if you hadn't experienced it in that way. So I do like that you were able to turn that into something that was productive and actually serves everyone, right? Everyone
Mhm.
should have that awareness and understanding. And I mean, yeah, survivor's guilt is probably tough, but at least you turned it around, and you're making your presence something that's actually valuable. So I just think that's cool. As far as stuff that was coming up for me, I had I've had a lot of different pivotal moments. I was considering a few. There was a few that did keep coming up. Some of them were. It was interesting because some of them were pivotal moments where I actually had decision making power and control, and then some of them were, I guess, upon review, out of my control. At least in that moment where the event happened, and I just was feeling a certain way about it, but the consequences of that event were still just as big. So, just to give you an example, or exactly what I'm talking about in that instance, so I'm not just speaking ambiguously and amorphously. Um, my older brother went to Harvard, and so my entire life that was kind of like the expectation, because he was like 10 years older than me. And so I had this weird expectation on me to like get into an Ivy League school when I was little. And I was smart. I did pretty well in school, but I just was different kind of smart than I think my brother was. And I'll never forget, I was actually at I was at the Florida State Thespian Competition. I remember because I was with our friend Dano, who's Dan Marino's son, and we were acting together. And we actually had won states. We so I was there on Accolade, but I remember I got it was there weren't smartphones yet, but there was flip phones, and it was when flip phones were first getting access to the internet, and I used my flip phone to dial in and find out that I didn't get into Harvard. And it just it was crazy how that totally wrecked my experience when I was actually there to be celebrated and doing all sorts of really cool things. So that was I guess a tangential sort of lesson from that, and that we all have different journeys and values and stuff. But that was a pretty big sliding door for me, because I kind of had my life planned out, or at least planned out for me, and it ended up becoming something totally different. And so then obviously I had to consider a different set of schools, and so I had my heart set on another school. I really wanted to go to Vanderbilt, which I actually did get in. I was really proud and really excited. We went and visited it, and then I'll never forget, my parents sat me down and they were like, hey, we can't afford Vanderbilt, so you're not going to Vanderbilt. And I was just crushed. I didn't want to go to the school I ended up going to. And looking back at it, though, thank goodness I did. I met all my best friends. I had some of the best experiences of my life, and some of my most treasured moments are a direct result of me meeting these people and having these experiences. And so I actually, the only prompt that I really struggled with in this mix of prompts was the one where it was pick one where you would change something. I don't think I would and I'm pretty happy that was the result. It kind of, I had a hard time getting the words out and trying to work through that prompt maybe, but it was, the background of it was all right, well, maybe this is pretty good. I'm glad that I'm in a place where I can take a look at my life, and yeah, some things I think in the moment I judged as good or bad, and I think there's some things that are just objectively evil or horrible. That's kind of a thing, right? But I wouldn't trade my life now, my marriage with you, my best friends and my relationships with them, the lifestyle that we live, this work that I'm doing. Oh my goodness, that was another huge sliding door for me at one point in college, because I was still trying to please everyone but myself. I decided that maybe people will love me if I pursue finance in Asia. So I mean, I was interested in Chinese, and I learned, how to speak Mandarin, and I was really good at that. So I was like, okay, maybe this will be my angle into that whole world, and I can get, positive attention from that. And then I started taking the finance classes, and I was like, oh no, this is so bad. I hate it so much. And yeah, so I went from pursuing, finance in Asia potentially as a whole career path and life path, to marketing and mass communications. And I kept the East Asian language and literature study and learning Mandarin, because I was good at it and I actually enjoyed that. And I've found ways to integrate that into my experience. But gosh, I just think what would my life look like if I didn't pack up everything and go to LA, but if instead I went to Taiwan? And to be fair, it would probably be great. That was the other thing that I was noticing here, is I was kind of imagining what some of the, if I had gone the other path, what that would look like. And all of them, I think I would have found a way to make it good. I'm pretty confident that's how, who I am. I will find a way to integrate my experience and enjoy it. And so that was a cool insight and realization about myself, and I was really happy about that. But that said, I'm pretty happy with my decisions, because I'm just thinking man, I really hated finance, and imagine trying to do it in Mandarin. That's crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. But it all turned out, and I'm really happy and grateful for how it did. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely mistakes that have been made, if you want to call it that, but and failures that have happened, quote unquote failures. But what is it that people say? If you learn from it, then it's not really a failure, is it? It's a success and something that you can add to your life. So anyway, I'm seeing we've got some comments here.
Some great conversation going, for sure.
Yeah. So Rachel appreciates you sharing.
Thank you, Rachel.
And thank you, Alex. We get a lot of vulnerable shares from the community, and I know you're kind of new on these things, and it's been really cool to see you kind of open up as like a host and sharing vulnerably as a part of that. And so, I just from me, thank you. Like
Of course,
I
yeah.
genuinely
I won't
appreciate it.
share everything, and nor should anyone, never feel like
Oh
pressured
yeah,
at any point when we have these discussions. By the way, everyone,
you look.
but
It's always you
it's
can always
nice
keep something for
to
yourself.
exactly. But I appreciate that, Rachel. Thank you.
Gabby says I was in a good 8 months art program until things went downhill for me. Now, after 2 years of getting myself back, I am writing to get back into a new art program, and hopefully by next year. Well, good luck. We're
That's
cheering for you.
incredible,
We're rooting
Gabby.
for you.
It's all about timing too. So, this is obviously the right time for you to pursue that. So, best of luck.
Got Darlene who says, what came up for me is that I realized that I should have waited with some events in my life. That's interesting. Well, I mean, it's interesting to note that, and like, right, you take that as information, right? You can't change that. You can't go back and wait at this point, right? So I guess the best you can do is try to accept that, find some peace with it, and then consider whatever your current decision set is. Is there anything that you're thinking about jumping into that maybe you should be waiting on? What was it that made you want to wait there? Like examine what's actually going on, like what feelings are coming up, what thoughts are coming up, and see if now maybe you're wiser having realized that. Maybe the quality of your decisions improves. So we'll see. Fran says, my chance encounter was with a man who became my postdoc supervisor and then my colleague and friend. Tonight, he is very near death and is on my heart. Such a wise and godly man. Well, thank you for that share as well. And what a cool thing. I've had experiences like that where you like just a chance encounter, you meet someone you end up working with or something. Like how cool to have someone who can be such an important part of your life, like a key part in how you developed and how you grew. And obviously life's one of those things, it's going to end for all of us. And I don't know what the circumstances are surrounding this man, but it sounds like he left a lasting impression on you and was a good person that you treasured meeting this soul. And I think getting to that, it's like that's like what it's all about, like getting to meet like these people who are wise, godly, good people, right? Getting the chance to interact with these people and form relationships with them. Like obviously we can all, second guess the decisions that we've made, but when you meet another sovereign being who can touch your heart, that's what's that Maya Angelou quote? I mean, obviously you remember what this person did, but clearly you remember how they made you feel. And I think while I'm sad to hear about the circumstances that are current here, what a joy and what a treasure for you to encounter this person and have them be a part of your life. And I personally, I do believe in thoughts and prayers, and so I at least I believe that the good vibes that you're feeling about this person and them being on your heart is hopefully finding its way into their experience somehow and making it better. So thanks for that share, Fran, and welcome. A really cool first share from you, so appreciate it. Melissa says, hugs to you, Fran. Yeah, one thing you'll catch on to here is this community is very welcoming and very loving. I'm so proud of everybody here for not only doing the work, but like being here and creating space for and holding that space for other people to do their work, and making it something that something that's not always the easiest thing to do, which is self-reflection, and and like really taking a look at events and thoughts and things like that. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but you guys all, I think, make it a lot easier than it could be. So Melissa's also saying, major decision I almost made but didn't. I was going to purchase an apartment in Boston just after college, when I could have bought it for $80,000. Some places go for, oh my goodness. You just made me think of the most ridiculous thing. Similar, not quite that big of a gap, but so my best friend growing up, his parents bought a beach condo in Deerfield Beach in South Florida, and right on the water. The whole back wall was just a panoramic view of the ocean. You could just walk out and go body surf and do all that stuff. And I spent probably maybe 60-70% of my weekends in my youth over at this place. And their family had its own ups and downs and interesting stories, and it led to that house being put on, or that I should say condo. It was a condo. It led to that condo being put on the market. And I remember at the time it was $300,000, which is still a lot of money. Let's get real. But like, they ended up developing that area. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 3 million right now. So just, it's crazy. And I didn't even crack into like some of the investment sliding doors and pivotal moments. That's nuts. I'm gonna have to chew on that one for a minute, but interesting share. And I'm sure you're not alone in having witnessed some of those kinds of societal changes and wondering what could have happened. Rachel says, wrote about how a not so great situation or great person turned into pathways and opportunities that I didn't foresee happening. There you go. Make lemonade out of lemons, right?
I had some of those too, Rachel. I feel
yeah. I did. I wasn't so brave with the people ones.
Oh no, yeah, no, those are I unfortunately
they're
those
tough.
don't be paired in this forum.
But yeah, they were coming up. I'll have to have another go with this one when I'm feeling a little bit more brave, but work through some of the interpersonal sliding doors. But you know what? I think I feel, after having gone through this and seeing what happened, I do feel braver about that now, because like I was saying before, the result was that, even looking back and, coulda, shoulda, woulda, or wish it didn't happen or whatever, like I'm so glad that I'm in a place where I'm at peace with how things have turned out. And I'm really genuinely excited. And so I think I would hopefully be able to make peace with some of those more tumultuous relationships and people. But
I think aging and therapy has been my best friend and the greatest tool for moving through life. And I don't know, I'm worked through some stuff, but here we are.
Fran says, good luck, Gabby. Yeah, good luck, Gabby. Really enjoy being a part of this new community, and nice meeting new people, and including you, Alex. She must be talking about girl Alex, because yeah.
No.
So the one difference between Alex and I, and the only thing preventing her from opening all of my mail, is she actually spells it with an I. It's so, just pro tip. Girl Alex is Alex with an I. And not Alexandra, not Alexandria, just Alex, right?
Just Alex.
You said that like you were disappointed.
No, it's just Alex. That's it.
Gabby says, being a part of Journal Party helps me get excited about new things happening for me. I recommend this to my friends. Well, thank you. Yeah, that's and wonderful. Everyone, please do recommend this to anybody who needs it. You don't have to tell them they need it, but or anybody who you just want to hang out with. Anybody who could use this sort of thing in their lives. I mean, it does seem to be something that most people tend to enjoy, which I'm really pleased about. I knew it was working for me, and I was a little nervous and hopeful that it would work for everyone everyone else. And so it's really nice to hear that people are enjoying this. But yeah, we're small but mighty and still growing. And so really always appreciate any kind of referrals or anything like that. Anybody you can bring into the fold and invite to the party is always more than welcome. And so really appreciate having you as a part of this community, Gabby, and all the sharing and not just with your friends, but with us. So thank you so much.
And Alex, on that note, really quick, my mom mentioned that she absolutely wants to be gifting memberships and programs to her friends and family. So consider making it like a gift card
Cool.
option.
Yeah.
Because
Well, so that good news. Well, talk about sliding doors and pivotal moments. We just had to switch platforms, or we're in the process of shifting platforms that we run all the journal party stuff on. And one of the new things that we will have the ability to do is make our memberships and stuff like that giftable. So
amazing.
yeah, perfect timing. Awesome. Well, I'll let your mom know when it's live and she can share it.
Perfect. Mm.
Darlene said, I have no regrets because I know all things work out the way they should, and I would not change anything. Well,
I love that,
yeah, I mean, and it's a hard place to get to, and I'm just kind of getting there. And, sometimes when something happens and I'm still holding on to some stuff, like I will still fight the universe and whatever it's trying to bless me with. and fortunately, right, you mentioned age, Alex, like I think wisdom comes with that age, and fortunately I've seen this play out. I've seen enough of the things that I was resisting and fighting turn out to be just total blessings in my life. So I do have a little bit more trust in that these days, and I think it's such a nice thing, because I think ultimately life is what it is, right? Not to be too trite or cliche, but it is what it is. It is one thing. And, if you try, you can change things, as they are. But, if you don't accept things, then you're in for a bad time. And I think on the other side of acceptance, if you can be brave enough to allow it, is peace. And that peace is a beautiful, beautiful thing, and something I it's a place that I hope to dwell in more often and for longer. Rachel says, for the most part, I'm with you, Darlene. The one regret that came to mind was not continuing Spanish in undergrad. But like you say, it all works out. Yeah, and you can always choose, right? Like you can decide to do more Spanish if you feel like that would benefit you, and you can't go back and learn it. I mean, that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned. I would say probably over the past decade is it just feels like time happens faster and faster. I don't know, if that's everyone's experience, but it does seem to be an experience that's held in common. And the other side of that is that the time is going to pass whether you do the thing or not. Speaking specifically about resistance, about doing things like, our things that responsibilities or our goals or things that we want to accomplish. And not to say you have to go nuts burning the candle at both ends and accomplishing all things. Like obviously you want to have a little bit of presence and intentionality behind the decisions that you're making, but I mentioned I learned quite a bit of Mandarin. There's a Mandarin expression that I'm quite fond of. It's Bu Pa Man Zhi Pa Zhan. And what that means is don't fear moving slowly, only fear standing still. And I guess the idea is just like, look, life's going to keep on keeping on. And, if Spanish is really something that you want for yourself, go and get it. And it's definitely something that you can absolutely get. But whether or not you go out to get it, that time is definitely going to pass. And so, do you want to be a younger person who knows Spanish, or are you cool with learning it later or not? Ultimately you have that freedom, but the clock is ticking. So, interesting insights. Gabby, my middle name is Alejandra. All right. Well,
yes, I love that.
Part of the Alex Club.
Beautiful.
And there we go. I think my Spanish name would be Alejandro, right? Probably. That's what they in Spanish 1 in middle school or elementary school. Spanish 1. You don't take Spanish 1 in elementary school. Although I did take Spanish in elementary school. Whatever. Anyway, June says, nice to see you both doing this. Yeah, well, I'm so happy that Alex is doing this with me these days, because it really, there's a lot of buttons to push and a lot of things to monitor and keep track of. And not only does she keep the dead air from accumulating, but what a wonderful soul and personality. Alex has, since I've met her, has, you guys ever see The Grinch, where they talk about how his heart was like 2 sizes too small or whatever? I feel like that's how I was when I met girl Alex here. And when she came into my life, despite a lot of kicking and screaming probably in the earlier days, she insisted that I grow my heart to be bigger and bigger. And I can honestly say I don't think Journal Party would have been able to emerge from the heart that I had prior to meeting her. So
no, I appreciate that.
I'm very, very happy with her presence here as well. Mary says, forget regret or life is yours to miss. That's cool. We got to put that in. That's from Rent, like the musical. I don't know if I've ever actually seen that musical. I've only seen
How have you not seen Rent? Rent is amazing. I can sing every single song.
Yeah, I've seen the songs. I've seen like the clips and stuff. Same thing with what's the one with the
Hamilton?
Revolution? Yes. Yeah, I haven't seen Hamilton.
Those are some must-sees. We'll have to go to New York sometime.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for the quote. We should drop that one in the accountability group. Speaking of which, we've made some changes in the Journal Party environment, ecosystem, etc. So, folks, Journal Party Premium is no longer a thing. We now are selling our programs, our premium programs, a la carte. So if you are still a premium member, it is an excellent way to maintain low-cost access to all of those programs, as well as our brand new accountability circle, which is the new program that we're doing. And so we're getting rid of premium, and we are going to be focusing more on the accountability circle, which is our accountability group. So if you like this format where we all hang out and we journal together, and we get vulnerable and we share and we try to talk about the things that we're trying to accomplish in our lives, then you would absolutely love the accountability circle. So it's a little different because we do it on Zoom, and so everybody gets to talk, and so it's a little bit more conversational, a little bit more intimate. And what we do is every Monday we get together, we journal, do stream of consciousness. Some people call it morning pages. Sometimes it is, for the afternoon session, we don't call it morning pages because it's not the morning anymore, but we do some stream of consciousness journaling. We do gratitude journaling, goal setting, and then we have what we call the accountability board, which is pretty cool. It's like, just a board where we put down the things that we're working on for that week. And then every week we check in and see, whether or not people are actually keeping the promises that they made to themselves. And it's pretty cool. I know that I'm taking down some goals. I know Mary's been killing it in the group. Melissa's in there. We've got a few of you guys in here at this point. So the accountability group is it's either 12 a month or 97 a year. And so again, we get together every Monday. There's that accountability board. We're also going to be building in some additional programming. And I'm currently working on a virtual co-working space. It's one of the things, this is, maybe a selfish development that I did. As somebody who's, building stuff like Journal Party and other stuff for some of my other clients, I'm often stuck in this office all day alone by myself. And I kind of miss having people that I work with and talk to during the day and share things with and stuff like that. And so I thought it would be really cool to introduce a virtual co-working space for that community as well. So, it's not something that you have to do or anything like that. But if you ever want to pop in there and, do some journaling or just hang out while you're working on stuff, I know a lot of people are working remotely and working from home these days. And so I think that's something that you guys might find valuable. So that the Zoom sessions, the accountability board, it's pretty cool. And I think it's a lot of fun. It's definitely helping me out. So check that out. The easiest way to access that program currently is directly through the app. It should be available in the app, or you can visit app.journalparty.com and check out through there. And as we develop these programs and finalize them for a big public launch, I'm sure you're going to see a lot of me. We get pretty aggressive with our advertising and stuff like that when we're trying to grow. And so on that note, hopefully we'll see a lot more new faces, fresh faces joining us, and have an even bigger party to share all these good vibes with. So definitely check that out if you're interested, and if you have questions or anything like that, feel free to DM me. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have, or even if you wanted to pop in on one of the sessions and just try it out, see if the format's for you, we can probably work something like that out if you're on these live sessions. Only if you're someone who shows up. Anyway, just gonna see what we have here in the comments. I saw a couple more trickled in. All right, Darlene saying I'm sweet. Well, thank you. June asked how much. I saw that. Yeah, so the accountability circle is $12 a month or $97 a year. And Mary says yes, the musical. I have it as a tattoo on my foot. Rent. I guess talking about Rent. Yeah. Nice. Gabby's excited for us. Thank you. And Hamilton's streaming on Disney. Do we have Disney?
I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea if we do. Well, we'll check it out. Thank you, Darlene.
Yeah, thanks, Darlene. And thank you, everyone, for your sharing and for just showing up for each other week after week. It's so nice to see, familiar faces and new faces. All of this, it is, really, it feeds my heart and soul when, the stuff that we work on and, put a lot of love and care into is well received by you guys. So I'm really happy about that. I see June's asking where to sign up. You should see that available at app.journalparty.com. Let me know if you don't see it. I know they just approved our new apps and stuff. So if you don't see it, June, feel free to send me a DM through Facebook, and I will point you in the right direction. It's something that we're basically just kind of launching today. I just got the notice from the app stores today. All right. Well, that's all I got. We got another session on Saturday if you want to come join us at 11 a.m. If you're on our email list, you should get the email for that when we go live. But it's the other thing that you can do is if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and that will notify you whenever we go live or release one of those instant premiere videos. And so, like I said, we do have one on Saturday coming out, and I believe it's about imagination. Should be good. So if you want to do some Saturday journaling, come hang. And other than that, I got nothing. I think I dropped all my announcements. Alex, anything to add?
I think that's it. And Darlene, you're right. Alex is a sweetheart for saying that. I always appreciate it. So we love you guys all, and we just hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.
And as always, party on.
Party
Say
on.
it, Alex.
Bye. Party on.